Fred,
Yes, I'm here.
can we do something in memory of Big George?
I'm recording now. Go ahead.
You know, first of all, Leon J. Muhammad, sports production, Hall of Famer, 60 years of boxing, been with all the greats and near greats. Tonight, the boxing world is on a sad note. We lost one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, George Foreman. And to remember a legend, a good guy, my condolences, me and my people, my family, go out to George's children and to his brother Roy, who is a close friend of mine. And I just wanted to say to the boxing world, let us send our prayers to Houston, Texas, and Marshall, Texas tonight for the Foreman family, who a guy, a funny, jolly guy, as one of the greatest heavyweights in history. I was there for Ali. I was there for the comeback with Michael Moore. I was there for one of the Joe Frazier's, the one in Nassau, in New York. But what a guy! What a humanitarian! What a great guy on the book tour, Champions Forever. So all I can say to your fans, send your condolences to to Texas, to the Foreman family, to his children and his wife. We're gonna miss you, champ. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Bing, the count is over. I just counted my friend out. What is your comments, Fred?
Well, obviously, I got him on his second tour of duty, you know, and I was raised to his voice on HBO, and I read in books and articles and newspapers how he was hated by America, you know, and came back and became America's favorite, you know.
Do
Uh,
you want me to comment on that 1968 Mexico City?
yeah, yeah.
Let me tell you something. When he came back from Mexico City, you have to understand it was at the height of the Vietnam War.
Hmm.
It was the height at the Civil Rights Movement. We had just lost Dr. King, Bobby Kennedy. In '69, we lost Fred Hampton. We lost a lot of people. A lot of people didn't understand what Big George was doing, and he didn't understand. And then he was around the gangsters, Sonny Liston, who was well hated. He had people around him, the late Doc Brodus, one of the guys at the Job Corps, worked for the United States government for the Job Corps, who got him into boxing. Then he's around Sonny at the time. And Sonny last 2 years of living, he was around Sonny. And then, he had the only good guy he had around him at that time was the late great Archie Moore. And when you when you when you when you own when you doing things that people don't agree with, there's going to be a problem. So, Fred, what I want you and your fans to understand that at this time, it was so much going on in the country, and they felt a young guy, 19 years old, waving an American flag at the height of the civil rights movement after the passing of the civil rights bill 3 years earlier and 4 years earlier for the Voting Rights Act. And we going through this, all these young Americans, African Americans, well as Afro American, some Spanish and some white Americans, dying in an unjust war. So people say, why is this guy standing up waving the American flag when America is not taking care of their own? So he reaped a lot of benefits after, because when things start moving in the '70s, A lot of black senators started coming on board, a lot of black judges. Thurgood Marshall was in the Supreme Court at that time. So, he was well hated, Fred. When he waved that flag, Fred, a lot of fighters wanted to gang him and knock him out.
Mm.
Because, America was still in torment. We were still being mistreated in the 60s for its lunch counters and stuff. We didn't really get to the Eagle lunch counters till in the mid-70s when them kids started going to war on them street corners, when them whiteys at the mom and pop diners, when them kids said, you gonna feed us and we gonna burn it down. That's when they got the message. They didn't get the message from the nonviolent student nonviolent marching in diners and restaurants. They got it from the kids on the street corner. When the gang got popping, they start walking in them diners in Oakland, North Carolina, and South Carolina, saying, listen, you gonna feed us and we're gonna burn it down. What's your problem? So a lot of things, Fred, he was well hated. He didn't become loved, as you know that you said you grew up on HBO and his comeback trail. On his comeback trail, Fred, in 87, what was it, about 12 or 10?
Yeah, 10, yes.
So you didn't get to see the whole comeback trail. You got to see the Great Jolly Boys on HBO. But Fred, before he got to HBO, he was well hated on the comeback trail until he got close. When he started being loved, it was that grill and the Holyfield fight. That's where he became American icon. The Holyfield fight and the George Foreman grill. Michael Moore fight just put icing on the cake.
Mm.
That's what that was about. So when you see it, that you have to recognize that here was a guy in his later years, he was an icon. And as I said before, can't take nothing away. He was an HBO personality.
Mm-hmm.
Fred, and what I will say, he in the later years of HBO, he did better with HBO than Ray Leonard did. Ray knew his stuff, but George was a favorite people because people that didn't watch boxing, they watched him because of his personality and the Foreman grill. That's my opportunity. Then what I will say, Fred, when he fought Jimmy Norton, he was well hated. Talking about hated, Fred, this man was hated.
Mm.
But when he started eating them hamburgers on TV, he became a big jolly child. Fred, going in, and I don't know if you read about it, as Ken Miller got you in the boxing, Fred, Seth Abraham didn't want to make that fight.
Him and Ken Norton.
No, not him and Ken Norton. Seth Abraham didn't want to make him and Michael Moore.
Oh, yeah.
When George fought Michael Moore, he was working for HBO. If you remember, even though he was a young buck.
Right.
He was working for HBO. George called Am, and Am will tell you the same story. Am said, I'll do the fight, but you got to convince Seth Abraham to get on board. That's what Am will tell you the same story. Because you and Am got a good relationship.
Tell people who Seth Abraham is.
Seth Abraham was the boss of HBO.
Right.
At that time. He was the boss of boxing. The executive boss was a guy named Ross Greenberg. And Mark Tappert, he was in charge of the fight operations. Mark Tapper is the guy today who managed the young lady, Carissa Shields, a gold medalist in women boxing and women boxing champion. Those were the three top guys that put together George Foreman comeback heavyweight fight with Holyfield and Michael Moore, two champions that fought each other. And when he won the title, Teddy Atlas, I give him credit because nobody wanted Teddy to give Big George, the late great George Foreman, the shot at the title, October 5th, 1994, in Las Vegas at MGM Grand. But Teddy Atlas gave Big George his last shot at the title, and George came up victorious with a 10th round knockout of the former champ of the world, Michael Moore. So when you become hated by your country and you become loved by the housewife, that says so much about his character in his later years.
Mm-hmm.
So what I will say to your fans is, whether you like the guy or not, his fighting style, if you was around, if your old timer was around during the Vietnam War, and when he came home to Mexico City, but this guy was a humanitarian. I've seen him by recreation center. I've seen him by churches. I've seen him give kids, go in his pocket, give homeless people money on the corner, and he's giving back. And he never put his children on a pedestal. He made them work. Even his late daughter, before she passed, she had a job with all the money his father had. All the children got jobs. So he didn't put them on a pedestal. For children, he raised his children right. The ones that I know the older ones, especially the George one, the one that lived in New York. He's a good guy. So we have to give credit where credit is due. And you know, even he beat Joe twice. Joe played the children love him because he would always, in Joe's later years, he would call and check on Joe. Because you know they did that book tour and that movie tour, Champion Forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to give my just dues and send them off. You have any other questions, Fred, about the fighters from that era?
Yeah. You said that you were you a part of the fights with Ali and Foreman, or did you go as a fan?
Well, I was part of the Thrill in Manila. I got the sparring partners ready for Ali. Now, I got all the sparring partners. I was with George. I worked for his brother Roy on the comeback trail. I got all the sparring partners and I got some opponents on the comeback trail. I did more for George on the comeback trail than I did the first time around because I was closer to his brother Roy, who lives in some part of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say where he lived at New Jersey, but he lives in New Jersey. And Roy and I talked because I noticed all week, me and my nephew, Al Rahim, of the World Boxing Bureau organization that we have, Roy is down with us, and we couldn't get hold of Roy. Because we know Roy had some fights coming up in Atlantic City, and we were trying to get hold of Roy until I got the news tonight. Mm-hmm. Sam Watson called me and gave me the news. Mm-hmm. Now you sat down, I got sad news. But we lost one of the greats tonight, your buddy George Foreman. Mm. And he said, because I know, because we didn't see, because Roy was supposed to be with us in New York for Tank, and Roy didn't come. So, because I had heard George wasn't feeling well, and I knew that Roy's son had went to Texas, and that Roy had left a show in Louisiana and went to Texas. So I didn't know he wasn't back home because he didn't answer his house phone or his cell phone. So and then when Sam called me tonight, my dear friend Sam Watson from that PBC, he said, I'm sitting down reading the paper. He said, and then I get the word a while ago that Larry in the hospital, Larry not doing well.
Really?
I just got the word. I got the word from a guy you supposed to call for the last 3 months. He called me, Aaron Snowell,
Mm.
because he called me about you to get
Yes.
your number. And then when he told me, he said, man, let me get Barbershop Fred's number. And he said, but I got to tell you something first. He said, I just got word Larry in the hospital and Larry's not well.
Mm.
They're hoping that he make it through the night.
No way.
That's the word I got from Aaron Snowell. Larry's not well.
Oh.
And then I made a couple of calls. They said that Jerry Cooney was on the way to see him. You know, him and Jerry Cooney became real close.
Yeah, they became yeah. After
So,
Don King played them, right? Used the race card to sell the fight. Is that
well, Fred, at that time, you talking about 81, 82,
mm-hmm.
it was still a big race problem.
Mm-hmm.
Don just do what he do best,
Right.
chocolate
Right.
off of controversy.
Right.
We know the four biggest things in this country is sex, alcohol, controversy, and the last one is caskets, because everybody gonna get a coffin.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the four biggest things sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Sex, controversy, alcohol, and caskets. The casket, the last one, because everybody gonna get a coffin
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later.
Right.
So so when you look at it, Fred, it ain't but two heavyweights, three count Larry, because he's real sick. It ain't but two heavyweights from that era that's left. Do you know who it is? Your public probably don't know who it is. That's George Chabala and Chuck Wetner.
Mm.
Chuck is doing well. He's healthy. He's got health. He's up in age. And you know George Chabala about 81, 82.
Mm-hmm.
But George got out the game. See, Fred, you know, when George came back, became champion. But he had that tough fight with Holyfield, the tough fight with Tommy Morrison, and then Fred is saying it was his liver that took him out.
Mm.
You know, you hear rumors. They said Larry, now Aaron Snowell, you know, he's close to that area. He's close to Easton,
Mm-hmm.
and he's close to Larry's son.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got it from Aaron Snowell. But I didn't get the call tonight on Big George until Sam Watson called me.
Mm.
And because we all wonder why Roy didn't come to Tank, because Roy had spoken to Sam that he was coming up to Tank, and Sam was going to take care of him like he took care of me. But what your fans need to know, you know, when he first started praying, and I say this, and I told him this when he was with us, George was well hated, bro. When he waved that flag in Mexico City,
Mm-hmm.
if some of the street hustlers could have got to him, he got his head cracked.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't kill him, but they cracked it upside his head.
Sure.
Because at that time, Fred, America was in a torment.
Right.
The black community, having race riots, burning up everything. They ain't want no Negro burning no flag in Mexico City for America. And all these kids dying in Vietnam.
Well, you also got to tell the people, because we got some 19, 20-year-olds that the track team put their black fist up. So they got to know that. So they can see.
Oh, you talking?
John Carlos?
About,
yeah.
You talking about Carlos and all them brothers?
Yeah. So
you know what it was? You gotta understand. Carlos and them brothers come from cities where that Black Power, where that Black Panther movement was more popular
right.
than it was. See, that Black Panther movement, it was around, but it wasn't that popular in Houston at the time.
Sure.
And George come out of that third ward, same ward as J.P. Prince and Antonio and all them Rapalot, all them young soldiers down there now. That's the ward that did come out of. And the Black Panther was down there, but they wasn't that popular. When John Carlos and all them brothers held their fists up, you know, that enraged people connected them, and everybody went against George. So had they not the raise their fists up, they would have been happy for Big George. But
Right.
Big George was put in a no-win situation when the brothers held their fists up to the Black Power.
Right.
And you also take into account too that Muhammad Ali was suspended. So
Oh, yeah, but see, at that time, see, they didn't have no backing. Ali had backing.
Sure.
See, they put themselves in a position. Ali had the nation of Islam.
Right.
So these guys, Fred, they didn't have no support when they came home. They was trying to make a stand like Ali, but they didn't have what Ali had. They didn't have the money Ali had. They didn't have the manager. They didn't have the soldiers to protect them like Ali. So they was more in a no-win situation.
Right.
So when your fans look back over the tapes and look back over the years, Ali was in a better position than that.
yeah. I just want to give the people a historical perspective as they listen to you speak. That's all, so they know the climate.
Yeah, and now, Fred, I don't even know if them guys are around today.
Yeah, I interviewed him during COVID. He lives in Houston. John Carlos. One is a professor. Wait a minute, John Carlos, and what's the other one's name?
I can't think of his name, Fred.
Okay, well, one lives in Houston.
Because at that time,
Tommy.
Oh, Tommy. Yeah. He's the one that's the school professor, isn't he?
Yeah, in San Jose State, I believe.
Yeah.
And one is in Texas.
See, Fred, them guys weren't my kind of guys, Fred. Them guys, Fred. Them guys did that in Mexico City, but they didn't come home and do nothing for the Black Panther movement.
Mm-hmm.
Them guys was fronters. Them guys became Uncle Tom educators. So I don't,
I get that.
Like you said, you interviewed them, but Fred, them guys wasn't really with the Panthers. They didn't come home and join none of the Panthers group. They didn't come home and do nothing, but use them gold medals and got educated and made money to take care of their family. Them guys, when you ever heard them guys going in the community doing something? I ain't never heard them.
I wasn't around then, so I can't speak on it.
Even as you interviewed John Carlos, I know you do your homework before you do anything. You did your homework on me. You do your homework on everybody. Did you do your homework? You find did he give anything back? Because you do your homework, Fred, before let me tell y'all, before barbershop conversation, Fred do any interview, he does his homework. So I'm telling you, I'm asking you in front of your people, did you do your homework on John Carlos? And what did you find?
Yes.
What did you find that he did for the community?
Well, he was a professor and he had a nonprofit. It's a blur now. It was like 3 years ago, so I gotta go back and refresh.
He listen. Ali Muhammad, who you interviewed, he's an educator. You can go up and down around Newark, New Jersey, and see homes that he built, homes that he gave back. His children, his friend. I don't know if he told you, he got a daughter that don't live too far from you. See, he got daughters out there. He just left California. One of his grandsons got killed. He just left California.
No way.
His daughter don't live too far from you.
His grandson got killed?
Yeah, he got a daughter out there by you.
Wait. How did his grandson get killed?
I don't even know, but I never asked.
No, man, that's not.
He was out there about a year or two ago. He was out there. He was out there when he was waiting on you to finally get in touch with him.
That's not fair. He's such a nice man.
So, prayer. You know the old saying in the black church, let my work speak for me.
Mm-hmm.
When he died, put this up. I didn't know his grandson, but I knew the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew his children here better than I knew her, but she's the oldest. She could be almost 50. She's older than you.
Mm-hmm.
His daughter out there, she's older than you.
Mm.
And her son was about 10 years younger than you.
Mm.
So, he's my guy, but Fred, that's why I tried to give George his flowers while he was on HBO, while he was here. George Palmer was a good guy, man. Fred, he had his ups and downs, but can't nobody say he was no deadbeat father because he took care of all of George and Georgette.
Hey, but he had a long time. He had 30 years up, 40 years up. I mean, it was beautiful to see him age, man.
Listen,
He aged with great grace in his family and in the public eye. That's hard to do, man.
listen, Fred, to do what he did by the grace of God, Fred,
Mm-hmm.
this man is an icon.
Mm-hmm.
He was a living icon until today,
Mm-hmm.
a living legend. And one thing, Fred, I know for a fact, it ain't gonna be no fighting over what he left with them children.
No.
He made sure of that. No, we ain't doing that. When I'm gone, we ain't doing that.
Right.
And plus, he even though he took care, they all had to get jobs. He had the Shaquille O'Neal mentality. You want to spend some of my money? Bring me some kind of degree.
Right.
And that's a good thing. And Fred, even though your children young, I like how you got your son and daughter. You got them up working at the morning with the sports. You take care of them. You got the little chores to do around the house. There's nothing but take out the trash.
Mm-hmm.
So you teaching them at an early age. And that's why a lot of these celebrity kids go bad, Fred, because they phone spared. All Joe Frazier children had to work. I know them all. But tonight, as we mourn George Foreman, one of the greatest fighters in history, Fred, how would you put him? I would put him at number 4, between 4 and 5, as the greatest heavyweight of all time. And I'll put him number 3. I'll put him number 3 as the greatest puncher of all time. I may put him 2. I put Ernie, Sonny, George, and Joe Louis as the 4 biggest puncher of heavyweight of all time, and Joe Frazier number 5 with the left hook. Do you agree? Do your fans agree?
Man, I mean, I can't argue that. I definitely can't argue that. The modern day fans will probably say Wilder. You know, I mean, throw Wilder in there somewhere because of his knockout percentage. But
we'll see. You can't put Wilder in that bunch, but you can put Wilder around the door. But see, Wilder didn't fight the punches that them guys fought.
Well, you can't blame him for when he was born, though, right?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can't put Wilder in that bunch. You got to put the Wilder and the Mike Tyson and the Lennox Lewis and the Holyfield bunch.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
You can't put him in that yesteryear bunch because Wilder didn't have. You can't even put Wilder in the Holyfield bunch. You can put Wilder you can put Wilder as the successor to the Holyfield and Reddick Bow bunch, but you can't put him in that bunch. You got to put Wilder in the bunch of the guys that he fought,
right,
that were knockout guys too. But see, we don't know if Wilder would have stand a chance against them big guys like him. We know Klitschko made Lewis retire because of that war, even though Lennox won the fight by 6-round technical knockout. But Lewis never fought again because that 6th round was hell. So anytime you go 6 rounds to stop a guy and you retire, Fred, we know something wrong, right or wrong.
Right.
We know something's wrong.
So you were in the Rumble in the Jungle or the Thrill of Manila?
I was at both of them. See, Fred.
Did George Foreman really get cut in sparring?
Yeah, he got cut.
Okay.
He got cut. That's true story. He got cut. But see, Fred, I didn't stay to run the jungle. Let me tell you what happened. The captain made me come home.
The captain meaning Jeremiah Shabazz.
Jeremiah was the minister.
Yes.
Captain Raymond made me come home.
Raymond Sharif.
No, Captain Raymond Boyd.
Oh, Raymond Boyd, which is Muhammad Ali's wife, Belinda Boyd's father.
It's her father.
Well, I'm just because people may not have may not have listened to our past interviews. That's why.
Captain Raymond Boyd was Belinda Boyd Ali's father.
Right.
He made me come home. He said, brother, he found word got to Jerry. I had to come home because I'm over there supporting a guy that's running around on his wife. So at that time, Fred, I'm young, I'm married, I'm in the streets, I'm getting money. I ain't really wanted to go nowhere. Because Fred, at that time, Fred, all I wanted to do was run my furniture store, my barber shop, my pool hall, go to the mosque, make sure the brothers sold the bean pies and the fish and the pies and the aqua juice. But I wasn't really mad because I just want to stay around Joe Frank's gym because I was making a lot of money around Joe. All the local shows. Fred, I didn't want to get that much money to go to Manila. But I'm gonna say to Zion, I wouldn't get that much money. I made more money one day at home than I got for the few weeks I was in Zion. Man, Fred, I was getting so much money. What the hell I'm going to Zion for?
So take us into George Foreman's camp in Zaire.
You know, George's camp, Dick Saddle and all those guys, they was cool with me. They wasn't cool with Don. Don didn't care nothing about him because the way Don made the fight. Dick and them called him a murderer, a gangster and all that. So they didn't like Don. So George had a secret. When I'm over there, man, I'm with Bodine around. I'm running around with Bodine, Carl Kane drinking liquor and signing Gerald Ford name. His mother tore his butt up. We was at the bar, right? Me and Bodine around. You remember Bodine? Yeah. But I didn't want to be there. Even though I love Ali, and I tell you this, and I tell you that it wasn't no point being over there. It was too hot, Fred. It was too hot. And I didn't want to be there. I was glad when Captain Raymond told me to come home. Jeremiah said, "You come on, we want to come home." And my young wife, she didn't want me to go. She said, the kind of money they paying you.
What was your job title over there from Ali?
I was advisor. I was advisor. Larry was over there, and my job was make sure that the spine partners had everything they need. Larry was one of the sparring partners.
Larry Holmes?
Yeah.
Larry Holmes was a sparring partner for that fight?
In Zaire and Manila.
I didn't know that.
No, in Manila, Larry was on his own. But he went to Manila and worked with Ali and Joe. So Larry was a sparring partner by Ali, Joe, and Ernie Shaver. That's how he never fought Joe, but that's how he knew Ali and Ernie Shaver and Norton Styles, because he was sparring partners. See, he never worked with Big George. But George had a good camp over there. He just got cut. You know, George always been a nice guy.
So what happened? I know what happened. So what happened after he got cut?
After he got cut, he wanted to come home. And Don and Madute, because Ali told Madute, if he get out of Zaire,
who's Manute? Who's that? The president.
the president,
I know he's the president, but they don't know. But go ahead.
he said, if this Negro gets back to Texas, he ain't coming back, and I got too much money at stake.
Mm-hmm.
So they made George stay. George stayed. A month later, then the fight took place. George was a beaten champion. He was beaten going over there. He was beaten. Ali just had to figure out how to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
But he was beaten. He couldn't win going over there. If he did knock Ali down in the 9th, 12th, or the 15th, he wouldn't have got the fight. The cards were stacked for history.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you this. I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Because all the bookies in Philadelphia had Ali winning going in. Just the New York and Las Vegas crew and Chicago outfit, they had George Foreman winning. But all the black pieces, they was Ali's guys.
Mm-hmm.
Against Foreman and Joe, they was with Ali. It was a win. All the black hustlers, they was with Ali, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ali talked that talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying to you. So for your people to know Fred, George Foreman, they might know him from the grill, being a fat, jolly guy on HBO, but George was a great humanitarian. I say this, when he was here, I told his brother Roy and the girls and his daughters and sons, he couldn't get a better father.
Mm-hmm.
The night he won the title, you saw all his sons in the ring, and Joe Cortez were trying to hold him back. Them Houston Negroes said, Joe, you get out the way. This is our father, man. You did your job. See, that's why a lot of people didn't like the referee, Joe Cortez, from that fight on. This man got all his children here. His father just made history. Fighting a guy damn near 20 years younger than him, you want to hold him back just for you to be in the light as a referee? Ever since then, I didn't have too much respect for Joe Cortez because you took away a night from this man's children just trying to clear the ring. It ain't your job to clear the ring. Raise his hand and get out the way. So that was a great night, October 5th, November 5th, whatever it was, in Las Vegas, when George won the IBF heavyweight title.
Yeah, and Jim Lampley's famous line, he did it.
History has been made. History has been made. Yeah. You know, Fred, speaking of that, I just saw Jim Lampkins. I saw Jim Lampkins doing something.
Yeah, he'll be in New York. Cinco de Mayo, free fight. You got to be there. You'll be there. Devin Haney is fighting.
I ain't getting no check. If Bill ain't giving no check, I ain't going.
It's free too to the public.
Fred, when I'm going somewhere, I ain't getting no check. Mm-hmm. I'm old, Fred. I like checks. Mm-hmm. And speaking of a check, I ain't got one from you yet. I know I'll probably get tomorrow when I find somebody. You one thing you always say the word. But Fred, but what I will want to say, Fred, they got to go back and watch that George Foreman Round Law fight. That was one of the greatest fights in history.
Yeah.
That was a great fight.
Yeah,
George, I'm a miss old Big George, his fat, jolly self, laughing, cracking jokes on the George Foreman grill. Fred, in the next 10 days before they land the ring, he's going to sell a lot of grills.
Yeah.
Trust me, he's going to sell a lot of grills. What I like about him, Fred, he raised all them children right. Mm-hmm. He raised his children just like you raising yours. Mm-hmm. So, Fred, you know, I ask your fans to send out prayers for George's family and send out prayers for speedy recovery for the former heavyweight champ of the world, Larry Holmes.
Yeah, the assassin.
Because he's very ill. Send out prayers for Larry Holmes and Larry's family.
Right.
And Larry, I send my love to you, Diane, and the children. May Allah bless you with a speedy recovery. But from what they tell me, Fred, Evan Snowell, our brother, say Larry's real sick. Mm. He's sick. And I know for a fact that Jerry Cooney went to see him. Because him and Jerry would be close. You brought us something a while ago, Fred, how Don King sold the race car. You can't blame Don King now. You got to blame Dennis Ravenport, who was his manager. He helped Don sold the race car.
Sure.
Ravenport. But Fred, that's how they make money. They sold the race car.
Right, you got to make money.
Friends, a lot of these kids today selling the race cars.
Uh-huh.
A lot of these athletes, they selling the race cars, but they sell it with the scripture and they sell it with corporate America. A lot of these athletes selling the race car,
Right.
but they sell it in a corporate way where you can't really see it.
Right.
But that's how they're doing it.
Right. What camp were you in for George Foreman? Were you in any of his camps?
No, George Foreman, when George Foreman fought a guy named J.B. Williams, I was in the camp, a light heavyweight champion who got one of the light heavyweight titles after Michael Spinks retired. J.B. Williams, I was in that camp. And when he fought a kid named Hernandez, I was in the camp when he fought the night before, the night he fought for Butch Lewis the night before Cooney Spinks, which was on a Monday. Butch Lewis had a show for his undercard the Sunday before. Because he had a lot of guys on that card. And he did a club show that night before, and George Foreman was the main event on that card, a 10-rounder. In Atlantic City.
Right.
So I did a lot of work with George, getting sparring partners on the comeback, because me and Roy was real close. I'm close to his brother Roy.
Right.
And I know all the boys. And when his late daughter was fighting, I got her a lot of opponents, the late Frida Foreman. So I've been with them a long time.
Right.
Over 50 years. And you know, I knew all the sisters, the ones that's still here. And the ones that's going on. I know them all. See, one thing about me, Fred, you know, I'm a legend in this business. And everybody that was somebody in boxing, I know them. So that's the way it is. So my brother, what's up next?
Hold on. Let me put a button on this. I'm going to start a new one. So rest in peace, Big George Foreman. And it was great to hear you memorialize him. Any final words you want to say about George Foreman?
I want to say, champ, you up there with all the greats. Ali, Smoking Joe, Ken Norton, Champion Forever, your brother and dear friend, the late great Charles Sonny Liston, the late Joe Louis, Esther Charles, Rocky, all the great guys before you and along with you. All y'all rest in peace, George. Being round 10, you have been counted out.